Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Crystalline. I'm Evil Space Viking, and last time we got a kiss with Leanna, and then now we're in a fight. Leanna runs, I sprint after her. The closer we approach camp, the clearer the sounds become. The clashing of steel, discharges firing, people yelling, my heart pounds, and I urge the wind to propel me faster. We're at our campsite. From here, I can make out Amy, Zack, and Kara surrounded by a group of bandits. Half a dozen of them surrounding Zack
We have
alone.
you now, Death Slinger.
Leanna seems surprised. She mutters under her breath.
Death Slinger?
A wall of flames explodes in the bandits' path. Their attacks waver as the crackling of fire makes them take cover. It takes me a whole second to realize that Amelia cast.
We have to help!
Yup. Amy wills the flames to climb higher, her face twisted in concentration. Amy, watch out! Amelia spins around. A gale booms across the field, tearing apart grass and flipping up dirt. The bandits go flying.
Back up!
Leanna and I leap near our group. She scowls and draws out her blade.
Just stand there! Get them!
I should be used to unexpected things by now, but my heart still pounds. I unsheath my sword. Oh. Helmet. Sword. 2 swords. Lightning bolt, shield. Success.
Is everyone okay?
I nod, panting and surveying the damage around me. Zack grabs one of the bandits who's barely hanging on to consciousness.
How did you find me?
Kara's eyes widen.
Find you?
The bandit stays silent. With a frustrated growl, Zack drops him back on the ground and grabs for another bandit. Takes out his blaster, shoots the bandit he dropped. The guy yelps as the bolt blasts into him. He faces a new bandit he grabbed.
Talk, or the same thing happens to you.
The bandit spits in Zack's
I
face.
have nothing to say to you, traitor.
Zack scowls and punches the man across the face, knocking him out cold.
Traitor?
We hear a shallow laughter and turn to face another bandit clutching his side.
No one joins the Cloaked Brotherhood and leaves. You should already know that. Zack Spade.
Cloaked Brotherhood?
Zack walks over to the bandit and kicks him across the face until he finally falls unconscious. Jesus, how many times did you kick him? Zack searches for any other bandits who may finally be awake, but no one else is responsive. Suddenly, Kara marches up to Zack with her dagger drawn. Whoa, what the?
Kara! You were a part of the Cloaked Brotherhood this entire time?
Kara's voice is harsh and her eyes only contain hostility. Zack holds her gaze and doesn't flinch.
I'm not a part of the Cloaked Brotherhood.
Then why did he call you a traitor? How do they know what your name is? Tell me!
Well, if you're a traitor to the thing that you hate, wouldn't that make him a good guy? You dumb bitch. Zack steps closer to her blade and his expression cold and
I
stunning.
already told you, I am not a part of them.
Kara retracts her blade but keeps glaring
How
at
do you
him.
even know who the Cloaked Brotherhood are?
Kara's eyes harden into polished jade. Her voice is flat and cold. They killed her parents.
Because they destroyed my only home and family.
I was close. She sheaths her dagger and begins to walk away. Amy had stayed silent this entire time, watching the scene unfold, but she tries to stop Kara.
Kara,
Kara stops and gently shrugs out of her
I need
grasp.
some time to think.
Then she disappears into the trees. The air around Zack has been thick with tension as ever. Since the ambush, Kara still hasn't returned. We set up camp without her, not really sure what to do. Zack stays secluded from us. He leans against the tree and his hair covers his face. It's been a while. Maybe we should look for her? Leanna frowns and shakes her head.
It's probably best to give her some space for now.
She's probably right. Still, there's a heavy weight on my chest. I can tell Kara's hurting, but even more confused about what's going on. What's the guild they're talking about?
I'm not too sure. It sounds like a mercenary guild.
Probably not a reputable one, considering Kara's reaction. Leanna looks troubled. What's wrong?
They called him the Death Slinger.
Who exactly is the Death Slinger? It was mentioned before.
He's an infamous mercenary for hire. They say he has a death wish. The Death Slinger would take on missions and jobs that no one else would take on because of how dangerous they were. Anyone crazy enough to do those jobs were said to have no regard for their own life. Somehow the Death Slinger took those impossible jobs and found a way to survive. At the Mage Guild, we were warned that there were certain encounters, or individuals, who if we ran into, we would not under any circumstances engage them. The Death Slinger is one of those people.
Lana shifts uncomfortably.
He has one of the highest body counts out of any mercenary.
Yeah, we knew he was a bad dude from day one. I look at Zack. He may be a bit rough around the edges, but I know that deep down he cares about people. What the Deathslinger did isn't sound like Zack at all. But this also isn't the first time I've seen the bandits after him. When we first encountered him, Leanna mentioned those bandits seemed weird. Was this the mercenary guild chasing him? Can we trust Zack? Abso-fucking-lutely. Thank you, Amelia.
Regardless of Zack's past, it appears his present self is no longer affiliated with the Cloaked Brotherhood or his persona of Deathslinger. He has also not betrayed us thus far.
Thank you, robot. I needed that. I suppose if he really wanted to do us harm, he had plenty of opportunities already, like when I slept in the same room as him, and that other time I slept in the same room as him, and all those other times I slept in the same room as him. Anna nods, deep in thought. Still, I wonder what the guy meant by traitor. Amy frowns
I
pensively.
have a few theories, although I do not advocate jumping to any conclusions before we have discussed the matters with Zack or Kara. Regardless, his previous time as Deathslinger is something he has attempted to keep hidden as a way to disassociate himself with his past.
Agreed. Leanna and I nod. Everyone has a past, but it's how they act in the future that's important. I hear footsteps. We turn to Kara, finally returning to camp. Zack whirls around. I can't read the expression on his face. Relief? Uncertainty? As she gets closer, I notice that her eyes are puffy and pink. It's clear that she's been crying, but her expression remains cold. She stops in front of Zack.
Tell me about the Cloaked Brotherhood.
What do you want to know?
How did you become associated with them?
Zack pauses. At first, I think he's going to refuse to answer, but eventually he does.
They gave me my mission to silence a target. It was a part of their initiation.
Kara inhales sharply.
So you were looking to join them.
I can see her face, but by her voice, I can tell she's angry and disgusted. Zack nods. Kara frowns deeply.
That was before I knew what they were all about. When I went to carry out the mission, that's when I found out the truth. My target was an ex-member of the Cloaked Brotherhood. The rule is, the Brotherhood is for life. This person didn't want to kill anymore, and he ran away. He was being hunted but had evaded the Brotherhood for years. When they finally found him, he was living a simple life in a small village with a wife and 2 kids. The mission was to kill him and everyone close to him, and to send a clear message for anyone else who would want to leave the Brotherhood. That was my initiation. I know my target killed people. Probably innocent people too, since he was part of the Brotherhood. But his family was innocent. Their only crime was knowing him. I've never killed innocent people before, and I wasn't going to start then.
I risk a glance over my shoulder. Kara's arms across, but she seems to be listening.
When I found my target, I warned him of my mission and told him I would cover him so he and his family could escape. I knew the others who joined me in my mission would kill me if they knew I'd betrayed them. So I took them out before they could get me. And then I let my target go free. Once the Cloaked Brotherhood found out I didn't complete the mission and help the target escape, I knew they would start hunting me. I tried to get away and stayed in hiding for as long as I could.
Kara finally lets out a loose sigh. The tension unwinds as her body. She seems to slump a little. She seems to believe Zack. Zack looks directly at Kara.
But they are a very covert guild who deal in secrets. How do you even know of the Cloaked Brotherhood?
Her voice is thick with tears, but I can tell she's trying to hold them back.
My dad was one of their targets.
I fucking knew it.
He had stumbled into some information when he was working as a treasurer's assistant. He reported it to the treasurer, who had been corrupt and sought to silence him. We escaped, but our life was never the same. We had to move from city to city and never stayed in one place for longer than a few days. My dad would be gone for hours, sometimes even days at a time. But no matter how long he was gone, I was never really afraid because I always knew he'd come back for me. Until one day, he didn't. I knew something had happened to him, but I had no way of finding him. I spent my life trying to figure out what had happened. I dug into as much as I could. The treasurer, what it was, who called the hit, everything. I found out it was the Cloaked Brotherhood who did it, but there was no more information I could gather on them. They cover all of their tracks. I'm not sure if he's really dead or not. I've tried to come to terms with it.
But you want closure.
She nods. Zack pauses and surveys her for a movement.
I know their base of operation. They have a ledger there that keeps records of all the jobs. So even though this happened years ago, you could still find your answer.
Kara's back straightens. There's a glimmer of hope in her eyes.
But do you really want to know the truth? It might not be the answer you want to hear.
Kara's jaw clenches and her eyes are aflame with determination. Zack nods. Kara's expression softens.
I'm sorry for jumping to conclusions earlier. I just haven't heard the name Cloaked Brotherhood in so long, and as soon as I heard it...
She looks down.
I understand.
I won't be able to concentrate knowing there's finally a lead I can pursue about my dad. As much as I don't want to, I'll have to leave the group.
She turns away, but Zack grabs her
I'm
arm.
coming with you.
Kara's eyes widen.
What?
I've been running from my past for long enough. But enough is enough.
Why are you staring over
They'll
here
never
and not
stop
at her?
searching for me, and the longer I run, the more I put others at risk.
He gestures at Amy and the rest of us.
I don't want to be the one that puts all of us in danger.
So you're gonna follow her and just put her in danger. Great
I'd
plan.
never forgive myself if I let them hurt the ones I care about most.
Aw. He looks into Kara's eyes. Her cheeks flush with a smile graces her lips.
I guess we'll both be leaving then.
Looks like it.
When they turn around, they approach us. Leanna's already standing, smiling expectantly.
So, where do we go next to take care of the Cloaked Brotherhood?
Yeah, you fucking tards. Kara freezes her mouth again. Of course we're going with you, you idiots.
You said you guys are going to take care of that guild, right?
You've been
What's our
literally
next
doing
step?
nothing but help me with my quest the whole time.
Zack and I are going to go alone.
Nah. Amy shakes her
If your
head.
description of the Cloaked Brotherhood is accurate, then this mission will have a greater chance of success with the aid of the entire group.
Zack crosses his arms.
Absolutely not. It's too dangerous.
I believe my combat abilities as a mage caster have been proven on numerous occasions.
And as a Mage Knight and an active member of the Mage Guild, I have been trained for dangerous missions such as this.
Kara looks at me.
But what about collecting energy to help him get back home?
They look expectantly at me. I don't want to be a part of this. Nope, I'm gone. I've been starting to have a lot of fun here in Terra. I still miss my friends and family back home, but there's a lot more I can learn here too. Plus, there are a few things here on Terra that Earth doesn't have. I mean, I'm not ready to give up magic just yet. And I'm certainly not ready to give up traveling with you guys, so if this is a detour we have to make, then I'm all in. Kara's at a loss for words.
I'm not sure what to say.
Boy!
Even the Pongo's in it. We all glance at surprise the Pongo. See? Even the Pongo wants to go. Oh, there we go. Fucking took my words out of my mouth. He nuzzles Kara's legs. He gives Zack a tentative look, and who returns his look with a stony glance.
Boy!
Mustering up his courage, he scoops over to Zack and nuzzles his leg briefly, then raises to the safety of my legs. Zack's expression is not harsh as he watches the Pongo.
If this is what you guys want to do, I'm not gonna stop you.
But you very much tried. Kara looks like she's about to say something and then changes her mind and shakes her head. A smile approaches, spreads across her lips.
Thanks, you guys.
The tension in the air is dispersed and the things start to feel like they're back to normal. Leanna and Kara share wide grins and Amy looks positive.
Let's get going then.
It's night. I stifle a yawn which Kara notices.
Hold on, Zack. It's already nighttime and we don't have a plan formulated. I think we can afford one extra day to set everything out.
Leanna nods.
Let's sleep on it and decide what our next steps will be in the morning.
Sounds good to me.
Zack heads to his bedroll and the rest of us filter into our own bedrolls. I gradually fall asleep as the last members of the fire die down and snuff out. The next day I wake up to the sound of voices. Looking over I see Zack and Kara speaking in low whispers. They consult with Leanne and Amelia while the Pongo snores softly beside me. I stir in my bedroll and Leanna glances over at me.
Good morning.
Morning. The Pongo opens groggy eyes as I carefully screw out of the bedroll. Sorry, I was trying not to wake you. Go back to sleep. He opens his mouth wide in a sleepy yawn. Shaking himself a little shudder, he blinks his eyes a few times and then focuses a wide grin. I guess he's awake now. He hops with me as I take a seat with the rest of the party. What's going on?
We're mapping out our route to the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout.
Do you know? Oh, I suppose Zack would know where it's at. Oh,
I figured you might want to sleep in. It'll end up being a bit of a journey to get there.
I give Leanne an appreciative smile. Thanks. So where are we headed then?
The Cloaked Brotherhood is located somewhere within Bridgewick, and that's located back towards the southeast.
It sounds like we'll be doing a bit of backtracking.
You are correct. However, that is still advantageous towards our main goal. To reach the water temple, we would have to travel in the same direction regardless.
Hell yeah. That's not too bad then, although I figured no matter what we'd have to travel south. We were pretty far up north. Kara faces
You're
Zack.
positive the Cloaked Brotherhood is in Bridgewick.
He nods.
How do you know if you never joined them? Even through all my research and contacts, I wasn't able to learn their location. They keep it very well protected.
I wasn't supposed to know it either. The Brotherhood doesn't reveal the location until you've been initiated. When I was sent to complete my initiation mission, one of the men let slip the location before confirming the completion of my mission.
And then you kill him.
I haven't gone there myself to confirm, so once we reach Bridgewick, we'll need to do more scouting.
It still sounds like our best lead.
I guess we have our plan then. The team separates as we clean up the camp and get ready to depart when we begin to trek towards Bridgewick. It takes us a few days to travel back south. Even though the mission of our journey has changed, Leanna still has me follow a strict training regimen. We continue to practice sparring and casting. I feel myself improve with each lesson. It won't be long before I can beat Leanna in a match, I hope. After about 5 days of traveling, we finally arrive at Bridgewick. The cobblestone streets are paved and well kept. As we pass through the marketplace, I hear the growing voices of peddlers advertising their wares. More traditional shop front lines in the streets, and a few shopkeepers chase away any tents set up in front of their stores. The pongo buries his face into my neck as we walk through. People bustle about as they shop. Everything about this town feels strangely ordinary. If I didn't know any better, I wouldn't guess that there's a dark guild hiding beneath this ordinary facade. Huh.
What is it?
This place seems kind of pleasant.
What were you expecting?
Something more like a wolf's den vibe, honestly.
Hiding someplace unremarkable is a pretty good strategy. They don't typically see too much crime here.
That's actually kind of
I
good.
wonder how much influence they have on the townsfolk here.
Probably very little. I'd guess that most of the townsfolk don't even realize that the Brotherhood is even here.
Even so, I'm not sure I like the idea of just hanging out in plain view like sitting ducks. Maybe we should go to the inn until we figure out what to do next. Zack shakes his head.
Too many people might recognize me there.
Fuck. I thought you said the townspeople are innocent.
They may be, but the inn is a prime target to leave Cloaked Brotherhood scouts. They'll most likely recognize Zack and alert the guild that he's here.
Kara frowns, looking worried.
That's a good point, which brings up an even larger problem. Where can Zack hide out? It might take a few days to even find a lead.
Well,
He has to be able to
change his
stay and sleep
fucking
somewhere.
Outfit.
I have a contact here. We can ask him if he'll let me lay low for a while.
Kara raises her eyebrow.
Who is it?
A friend of a friend. He won't turn us away.
Zack leads us through the city and pauses in front of a small shop. A sign with a hammer and an anvil hangs above the door. There must be a blacksmith's forge. He opens the door and a small bell dings above our heads. The weapons line the wall and their blades winking in the light. Hey, look. Guns. I can hear a faint sound of a hammer smacking against metal as an orange glow flickers down the hall. We wait a few minutes to see if anyone comes out. With no one does, Zack leads us into the back as we see a man, his face sweaty and wrought with concentration as he hammers a blade. Sparks fly when he hits it. The constant hammering is making my ears ring. Zack steps out of the doorway, his shadow casting over the man's work.
Hey,
The man looks up and blinks.
Oh, good afternoon.
He wipes his forehead with the back of his arm and smiles.
Sorry to keep you waiting. It's usually pretty quiet out front at this time. What can I do for you?
are you Adrian?
His smile remains on his face, but a line of tension creases his
I
brows.
am. Who's asking?
Well, you should change his name from Blacksmith to
I'm
Adrian.
a friend of Damon.
Adrian's eyes widen and he lets out a long, slow
That's a
breath.
name I haven't heard in a while.
He always spoke very highly of you. Said the only blade worth having was the one forged by Adrian.
Adrian laughs in a deep, throaty rumble.
Then he switched to discharges. Lost half my business when that happened.
His expression softens as he takes a closer look at Zack.
That boy you took in? Although, you're not so much a boy anymore.
Zack.
Boy. Adrian nods.
I'm sorry about what happened to Damon. He didn't deserve to go like that.
No, he didn't.
Zack lowers his head and the hair falls into his eyes. Zack isn't usually this emotional. Whenever they're talking about, he must have meant a lot to Zack.
Anyway, Damon was like a brother to me, and I know how much he cared about you. He wouldn't stop talking about how you were going to be one of the best mercs out there, maybe rivaling even him. Anything I can do to help, you just let me know. A friend of Damon's is a friend of mine.
Zack nods. He takes a moment to recompose himself, then looks back
I
up.
appreciate the offer. In fact, I do have a favor to ask. Would it be alright if I lay low here for a while?
The blacksmith strokes his chin, smearing soot across his jaw. I notice the skin on his forearms looks like it's been melted. And it takes me a moment to realize that they're burn scars.
I won't ask why, but can you promise me you won't bring anything back to my shop? I don't need any trouble here.
I promise, you won't be involved at all.
He grins a little and
Then,
nods.
feel free to stay as long as you need.
Thank you.
The rest of you going to stay here too?
Nah. Lana shakes her
It's a
head.
bit crowded in here, and we've got some things to take care of first.
Adrian eyes the Pongo warily. The Pongo shrinks from his gaze. He wobbles over to my legs and hides behind me. Well, actually, the Pongo might say. You'll be on your best behavior, right? He grins at me and cuddles against my leg. Just in case, I reach for a small crystal stacked on the shelves and fish for a handful of coins I offer to Adrian. Is it okay if I buy this? He accepts my coins after the crystal to Pongo, who excitedly snatches it up. He wiggles happily in a jiggle dance. Lena melts as she watches the Pongo. He should be good to go and won't touch anything else in the shop. Satisfied, Adrian nods.
All right, you can stay.
Now, I'm seeing swords on the left-hand side that have gems in them. Crystals, potentially. I wonder if they're magic swords are a thing in this. Kara touches Zack's arm.
We'll be back as soon as we can.
He nods, but doesn't say anything. Kara gives him a gentle squeeze before we return to the main room. We pause before leaving the shop. Once outside, I face the remainder of our party.
All right, we've got to find the location of the Cloaked Brotherhood's hideout. It'll make more sense if we split up to find information.
Agreed. Our best course of action is to investigate in pairs. That way, should anyone befall any trouble, they will not be alone.
Good thinking.
Amy and I will start in the north of the town, while you two start in the south. We'll meet up back here afterwards.
Once agreed, we split up. Leanne and I head off in one direction while Kara and Amelia go the opposite way. Leanne and I pause at the marketplace.
I'll scout some of the buildings out around here and see if I can find any unusual activity.
Okay, if you ask around outside, I'll look around here in the marketplace. She grins.
Sounds like a plan.
Hell yeah, it does. She heads off. I turn around to scan the area. I walk up to the group of people, mostly young guys. They're clustered together, blocking off an alley. Someone must have said something funny because they abruptly burst into laughter. Hey, they look up at
What do
me.
you want?
Has anything weird been going on in this town? The first man narrows his eyes.
What do you mean weird?
I mean, like people disappearing, crime rates up, assassins, ninjas. He blinks. What? He's not helping me.
Get out of here, kid. We don't know what you're talking about.
They definitely know what I'm talking about. I walk away with a soft sigh. Maybe they weren't the best people to ask. Fuck, why would I ask the mom and her child? The two guys are playing some kind of dice game in front of a fancy-looking buildings with a wrought iron fence. They don't seem to be keeping a particularly good eye on the town. Excuse me. The guards pause and look up.
Yes, can we help you?
How's protecting the city going? The guards blink.
Fine.
Arrest anyone suspicious lately? He leans against the fence trying to appear super casual. You know, like some murderer from a really secret mercenary guild or something? The other guard's face settles into a
Is there
frown.
something you need? We're kind of busy.
This guy. I glance at the dice game. So much for protecting and serving. Alright. seat. Sorry, I shuffle away. Fine. Excuse me. The woman freezes. She stops and turns around. The woman's mouth pulls up a distorted frown. She takes my leather armor and sword strapped to my back. Her eyes are guarded and wary. She shovels her son behind her.
What do you want?
How is the mother and child the right choice? I was wondering if you could tell me a little about the town. Her eyes narrow.
What about it?
I've just moved here a bit ago. Is there anything you think I should know? The woman pauses, her lips flatten into a thin line.
Yes. You shouldn't be traveling alone.
Her grip tightens around a little boy's hand. My stomach clenches. Oh. I shift uncomfortably. Why? Is there anyone strange out there? The woman's mouth clenches shut. Clearly, she's not up to answering any more of my
If you'll
questions.
excuse me.
She elbows her way past me and, rude, disappears back into the crowd. That wasn't as successful as I'd hoped it'd be. I search for Leanne and find her outside of one of the buildings. Any luck? She shakes her head. Me neither.
Maybe we should head back and see if the others have had more success.
Yeah, good idea. We make our way back to the blacksmith shop. It looks like Kara and Amelia are already waiting for us.
There you guys are.
Kara splits into a bright smile when she sees us, seems to be in a good mood. I hope this means you found something.
You bet. I think I got a lead.
I raise my eyebrows impressed. Really? She nods.
I noticed there were a lot of people going in and out of this one area. It might be nothing, or it could lead us exactly where we need to go.
Leanna nods in agreement.
That sounds like our best bet. We should grab Zack and get going.
We meet up with Zack and fill him in on what we found. He straps on his discharges and together we head out of the shop. Kara takes us through the shortcut in the city, hitting more isolated streets. The fewer people who see Zack, the better. She steers us into the alleyway and then turns another sharp corner.
Right here.
She gestures to a house. I squint at it. Doesn't look any different than the other houses in the city. What exactly am I looking at?
This place doesn't seem like much, but I've seen people come in and out. If this was someone's home, you'd expect to see the same person there all the time. But that's not the case.
Let's check it out then.
Sure. There's a man stationed right outside the home, but Zack easily knocks him out. Oh! We didn't even talk to him, just left cross. Just knock him out. As we enter the house, first thing I see is a rickety dining table and a meager kitchen. Sunlight slices across the floor from a single window. I notice a red flap covering the entrance to what might be another room. Kara walks around the room, testing the floors and walls to see any creaking or hollow sound. She shoves aside a curtain and exposes a blank wall. Pushing against a knot on the wood, the wall swings back to reveal a doorway leading to an underground staircase. I wait for Kara to grin or make one of her usual jokes, but she doesn't. Instead, her jaw clenches. She looks nervous. We all stare down into the dark.
Let's go.
I stiffly nod. We descend down the stairs. And that's where we will end this episode here. Catch you guys on the flip side.